off seasons. Why are they difficult? Why do we struggle? What can we do to work on it to make the long times away from stage a little bit better, a little bit more comfortable? That way we can actually, do what we need to do to grow and improve on our most recent package. So first things first, guys, we need to ask ourselves, why do we struggle in the off season? What makes off season so difficult, so daunting, and just brutal? So I've compiled a list today of a few things that I've struggled with in the past in my off seasons. Some things I'm still actively working on, trying to improve. That way I can actually just get through the off seasons and start a contest prep. So first things first that I've typically struggled with in the past is I've struggled with not being in stage condition. So you have to come to the conclusion, guys, that being in contest shape year round is not optimal for muscle growth. You're going to need a small caloric surplus, and being depleted and dieted down is definitely not a caloric surplus. Anyone that's ever competed knows how you feel, a couple weeks out from a show. You are definitely not primed for putting on muscle tissue. So you have to come to that conclusion that, you might have to lose a little bit of your ab definition in order to put on some muscle tissue, and that is okay. But if you don't do that, guys, you're not going to make the necessary improvements when it comes time to diet down and get back on stage, and you will not actually improve and have noticeable differences on stage. And ultimately, guys, that's why we're doing this. Bodybuilding is that in and of itself, bodybuilding. Taking time away from stage is where those improvements are going to be made. So keep that in mind. Something else that I've struggled with, and I feel like a lot of you guys have struggled with as well, is FOMO, or fear of missing out, or feel like you always have to be competing to stay relevant, whether that be on social media, in your gym, whatever. But at the end of the day, guys, you have to ask yourself, are you competing for you in order to reach your long-term goals, whether that be the Olympia stage, an IFBB Pro card, a national level, being a national level competitor, or are you guys just competing for social media / Instagram, which is okay. That is perfectly cool too. If you're just wanting to compete to be, the next Instagram influencer or the next YouTube sensation, that is totally cool, guys. But you have to be realistic with yourselves in the fact of you're not going to be making drastic improvements show to show. Oftentimes you'll see guys that want to stay shredded all year just for social media. They're constantly fighting to reach their most recent stage look. There's not a lot of improvements that actually are made from show to show. They're constantly trying to get back to that look that they had before that they really liked. So you really need to ask yourself, why are you actually competing? Are you competing for that pro card, or are you competing for Instagram? And like I said, there's no wrong answer to that. You just have to be realistic in your result, with your results. So think about that, guys. So something else that a lot of folks end up struggling with is they struggle with their diet, and they struggle with actually getting in enough food. And something that I've actually done in my past, and I'm actually continuing to do, is I've continued working with a coach in my off season as well as contest prep. And what I've noticed that it drastically helps with the accountability side of it. And knowing that you have to check in with a coach every week or every 2 weeks, whatever you guys work out there. In my case, it's every week. Knowing that every Monday morning I have to send over photos, send over measurements. I have to log all the nutrition that I put into my body every day. I have to log all that into a spreadsheet. Just that, that enough is enough to keep me accountable and keep me wanting to, stay on plan and not fall off. And something I believe I touched on in the other point too is switching over from a meal plan to a macro plan, especially in the off season. Now, me personally, I follow a macro-based approach all year long, even in contest prep. But I personally, I'll build out my own meal plan, so to speak, with my basic 100% whole foods, especially in a contest prep. And in the off season, I'm definitely more liable to work in a little bit of the candy, work in a little bit of the sweets, or whatever your thing is, whether it be sweet, salty, savory, who knows. but having a macro-based approach really allows you to add in that added flexibility and still be able to reach your goals all at the same time. So especially in an off season, guys, switching over to a macro-based system, in my opinion, is paramount. Um, it just helps so much because it gives you that little bit of sanity, and you can, like I said, you can still reach your goals, still eat some foods you enjoy, and everybody's happy. Like I said, it keeps you on track, makes you enjoy life a little bit more. And another thing you can do as well, guys, is talk to your coach about working in a free meal or a cheat meal, whatever you guys want to call it. Like personally, I track macros and I have one cheat meal a week. So that cheat meal, personally, I use it as a date night type situation with me and my girlfriend. So we'll go out and have dinner, we'll go out and have drinks, or whatever it is. But that one meal off plan where I don't have to track, I don't have to worry about it. Now, you got to keep it in mind, guys. You have to be able to keep it in check a little bit because you don't want to go out and eat 10,000 calories. But I go out and I mindlessly just have a good time. I'm able to disconnect from tracking, disconnect from all that good stuff. And like I said, it just gives me a little bit of sanity that you might not have towards the tail end of a contest prep. But just those little small tweaks like that, guys, make a drastic difference in being able to stay on plan, stay on track through that long extended off season. And something else too, guys, if you're struggling to get in enough food, there is nothing wrong with adding in a little bit more like calorie dense options. If you're one of those people that has to eat 4, 5, 6,000 calories, guys, it's going to be insanely difficult to eat all that food coming from 100% whole foods and unprocessed foods. Don't get me wrong, it can be done. But sometimes, guys, you might have to add in a little bit of fruit juice. You might have to add in a little bit of carb powder. Hell, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I've added in like little Debbie snack cakes in the past, just because they are super calorie dense, and I was able to work them into my macros, and that was just a lot of rice that I didn't have to eat coming from a little Debbie. So keep that in mind. Is that the best approach? Maybe not. But if you need the food to grow, you need the food to grow. So keep that in mind. That is a cheat code, guys. Fruit juices, carb powders, maybe a little bit of candy pre-workout or intra-workout as well. Simple sugars is not a bad thing, guys. You have to do what you have to do at the end of the day. Bodybuilding isn't always pretty, and either end of the extreme can get a little bit ugly, whether that be forcing food in the off season or depleting down to actually get on stage. So something else I see a lot of people struggle with, guys, is you just get bored. Honestly, guys, the off seasons are typically not very exciting. But at the end of the day, guys, you have to come to the conclusion, you have to realize that you have to fall in love with a long, boring, mundane task day after day. Because ultimately, guys, that is going to be what transforms, that's what's going to be what transforms your physique. Being able to check those boxes day in, day out for years on end, that is what's going to separate the great bodybuilder from the average bodybuilder that never really makes it. Falling in love with that process, guys, is just crucial. You have to be okay with just doing the boring, mundane tasks day after day for extended periods of time. That's where you're going to see the results. You're going to see the results in those off seasons that, you're stepped away from stage for 2 years. When you come back to stage, guys, you did everything you could. You checked every box every day for, that 2-year off season, whatever it is. There's going to be a noticeable improvement on your next stage package. There just is. You're training hard in the gym, you're eating enough food, guys, it'll be drastic, and that's what you want. And guys, you don't make those kind of improvements doing shows every 3 or 4 months. In the off season, guys, especially for you enhanced competitors, you can expect anywhere from 5 to 10 pounds. If you're intermediate, at an intermediate level, you can expect a 5 to 10 pound stage jump. If you skip a year, so you go say 18 months of an off season with a 6-month prep, it's not unrealistic to expect those 5 to 10 pounds. And I want you to think about it, guys. If you go to any steakhouse or the grocery store and look at, say, 16-ounce ribeye steaks, which would be 1 pound. Think about putting 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of those on your physique somewhere. That's going to be a drastic difference. And ultimately, guys, that's what you're doing in that off season. You're building that tissue to come back bigger, better than you were before. So that's the ultimate goal of the off season, guys, is to eat the food, to recover, to train hard, just to beat that your previous best. So just know that staying consistent in your off season is going to be what separates you guys. If you're top 3 at a national level show, and the top 2 competitors, they fuck off and piss off all off season, and you're grinding. As long as you have the genetics, you're willing to take the drugs, you're willing to eat the food, you stay consistent with that, guys. Get ready. You're going to be a force to be reckoned with come the next show season. But I hope you guys got some value from this video. Like I said, I know off seasons are difficult, especially extended ones. But guys, I can assure you it is worth it at the end of the day. So stay consistent, stay working hard, and keep kicking ass, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. So let me know down in the comment section what other kind of videos you guys would like to see. I'd love to be putting out, continue putting out videos for you. But yeah, guys, y'all have a kick-ass day.